Hi, my name's Katharine Gray, and I'm the founder and director of Friends First. Firstly, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this short video. I've recorded it to introduce you to Friends First and to tell you a little bit about our organisation. You see, one of the key things that makes us different is that we love to get to know and interact with our members. So I think it's only fair and right that you have the opportunity to get to know us too. And in getting to know us, hopefully it'll help you decide if we're the right organisation for you. Let me start by giving you a bit of background. I set Friends First up in 1999 in response to a speech given to our church during a weekend away by Elaine Storkey, the theologian. She challenged us to do something for single people, and I thought, well, I could do that. I started by canvassing the views of various church leaders around Birmingham and discovered that they clearly wanted something practical they could give the members of their congregation who came to them saying they were looking for a soulmate, as well as just praying for them. So I set Friends First up because it was obvious that there might be two compatible people going to separate churches only a couple of miles apart who would never actually get to meet in the normal course of their lives. And if I could just let them know about each other, then that would be a really good thing. So that's essentially how Friends First began. We started off in Birmingham and very quickly grew to be a national organisation that's gone from strength to strength. I've won a number of fantastic awards, including the Wise Woman Award for running a Christian business that positively impacts the community. I've been featured in the national press, both Christian and secular, and our couple stories have made it to the mainstream TV documentaries. I've helped thousands of Christians of all ages, backgrounds and marital statuses to find their someone special. I wouldn't call it boasting, but I've been instrumental in hundreds of couples getting married and have helped many more people find the new friends they were looking for. You'll not be surprised to hear me say we have members in all age groups, from as young as people in their 20s all the way through to people in their late 80s, all across the country. Essentially, what we aim to do for our members hasn't changed since our first day, and that is to help Christians find friendships and relationships with other Christians. I'm pleased to say thousands of our members have found new friends and relationships, and you could spend hours reading all the amazing bits of feedback we've received from such members. We've also had literally hundreds of people marry through us. We have amazing testimonies from couples in their 20s and 30s, those in their 40s and 50s, as well as people in their 60s and 70s, and we've even had a number of couples who've got married in their late years, in their 80s. Now, you may be young or advanced in years. You may be single, having never married. You may have married and are now separated or divorced, or you may be widowed. You may be somebody experienced at dating, or it may be your first time of putting your toe in the water and trying to find a soulmate this way. One thing's for sure, though, you're a Christian, and settling down with a significant other who doesn't share your faith really isn't an option. If this isn't important to you, then there are plenty of other agencies out there to help you, but we're here solely to help Christians find each other. Now, I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've seen a lot of other dating agencies come and go. I'm pleased to say that we're still here by the grace of God, but also I believe because we've kept to our core principles. It's these principles which set us apart from other organisations and which I'm going to share with you now. When I set Friends First up, I was going to St John's Church in Harborne, Birmingham, where Canon John Hughes was the vicar. What's happened to his 3 children has been an absolute inspiration to me. 2 are vicars, and you've probably heard of the third, Tim Hughes, who is a worldwide worship leader. They all married other Christians, and that made a massive difference to how they're impacting God's kingdom. In contrast, I've seen other families where the children have been brought up as Christians, but who've then gone on to marry non-Christians and their faith has subsequently dwindled. When 2 Christians marry each other, it's obvious that God's kingdom is strengthened, and that's a wonderful thing to be involved in. So for me, helping Christians build their faith and find other people who support them in that faith is very, very, very important. That's why Friends First has only ever been an organisation solely for Christians. Now, I passionately believe that God created us for relationships, both in community and intimately between 2 individuals. but that as a God who desires this for us, he expects us to do our part in bringing this about. Rarely do we find new jobs or houses or other things in our lives just by waiting on God and doing nothing ourselves. Finding a partner is no different. As Christians, we need to pray as if it depended solely on God, but act as if it depended solely on us. Being prayerful and proactive absolutely go hand in hand, and that's another of our core principles. As I've said, at the heart of my business is my desire to assist Christians find new friends and relationships. What I've seen over the years is that this involves much more than just providing details of members to each other. A lot of people have asked me why we don't operate online, and the reason is that I don't think you can offer the necessary support online. I've also seen so many of the negatives of online dating. Many people online aren't who they really say they are, or they're just there to play or use it as a form of entertainment. We've seen a number of TV documentaries show how internet companies employ people to pretend they're members, to attract people in, and to get them to start paying for their services, but then disappearing once payment is made. I'm sure you've heard of horror stories of people who've met someone online, who've had money taken from them, or who've had worse things happen to them. Now, obviously, this isn't everyone's experience, but it is very common, and that's because online people are left to their own devices, and there's very little monitoring of what's going on and how people are behaving. You see, I believe that when you're in the field of introducing two people to each other, getting to know them and being on the end of a telephone to support them is an essential part of the whole process. I'm sure it's why so many of our members have found the friendships and relationships they've desired. Some people call us old-fashioned, but I don't think there's anything old-fashioned about introducing two people to each other and being the means through which two people can meet. It's the way it was done in many of the stories in the Bible, and it still works just as well today. I've been very lucky over the years to have a great set of people helping me run Friends First. The same is true right now. We have an amazing team of people who are there to support our members and make sure they're doing things in the right way. We call it the banana rana syndrome. It's not what you do, it's the way that you do it, and that's what gets results. So that's another one of our key principles. Obviously, at the heart of what we do is providing members with a selection of other members for them to contact and make friends with. But if that's all we did, then we would probably see the same results as many other agencies, especially those online or found through phone apps. You see, I don't think the numbers of people who actually meet online are very great. It comes down to my belief that success is all about what people do and the way they do it, and not just about access to numbers of people. Let me give you a very simple example of this. Take something really basic like writing a letter. How you write or make contact with someone, whether it's by letter, email or text, makes a fundamental difference to the response you get. So if you just write an email that says, "Hi John, I've seen your profile, write back to me," you're very unlikely to get a great response. Compare that to a letter where you've taken notice of what John said about himself, you've commented on it, and then you've related it back to how you have similar things in common. You'll get a far better response, I can assure you. It's not just the first contact that's important. How you judge and think about the profiles we send you is critical. What your criteria is affects who you'll contact and respond to. How you think about yourself also makes a big difference. If you were to spend a bit of time looking at some of the stories on our website about the couples that have got married through us, you would see there's a common theme running through them. People's behaviour and the things they've done have been influenced by what we've said and the support we've given them. And as a result, they've gone on to do things that have led them to meet the right people and be successful. Most of this is common sense, but it's not commonly found. So hopefully you can already see from how I've described and outlined our principles that we're a very different organisation to many run-of-the-mill organisations that you've probably heard about in the papers or come across online. Now, just in case I wasn't clear enough, let me summarise our 3 core principles that are at the heart of my business and at the heart of our members' success. Firstly, The kingdom of God is powerfully built when two Christians come together. Second, being proactive is equally as important as prayer. And thirdly, support does make a difference to how successful you are, because it's not what you do, it's the way that you do it, and that's what gets results. I'm now going to move on to explain what membership with Friends First involves and why else you should consider joining us. There's a choice of 4 membership packages, offering a variety of services and levels of support priced to enable you to find a membership that's right for you. There's a one-off membership fee, or you can spread your payments, and you should know that we don't offer or believe in 10-day trials or free memberships, because we're looking for people who are seriously committed to finding new friends, and we certainly don't want the here today, gone tomorrow sort of members. The starting point for all members is their profile. It's the first impression other members are going to get of you, and as a result, it's really important. But it's not something that's often thought about carefully enough. We start your membership off by asking you to write about yourself. We take what you've written and write it up into a profile about you. If you want, you can also have a 30-minute telephone interview with us, where we find out about things about you that you might not have thought of mentioning, but which actually make you who you really are, and makes you stand out from other members. For many people, this is considerably enhances their profile and the response they get from other members. We'll also make sure you have great pictures on your profile. Most people haven't got good pictures of themselves, which is why we give every single member a professional photo shoot in a town local to them. Lots of members feel nervous about this, but all the feedback we get is what fun the photo shoot was and how delighted they are with the pictures. We're not talking Vogue cover magazine shots here, but rather pictures of you that make you truly look like the wonderful person you are. Once your profile is ready to be distributed to other members, then our matchmaking can start. This is something that takes place every month in the office, and we're always excited when we see all the profiles going out in the post to our members. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about how we match people, because we're not a matchmaking agency as such, because I believe that complicated matching algorithms don't actually work. We've always aimed to give our members as wide a choice as possible in who we select for them and who they get the opportunity to contact and meet. We'll encourage you to keep your options and your mindset open, because our experience has shown us over the years that this proves amazingly effective for many members who've gone on to find those special relationships and get married. I have so many stories of people who said they didn't want to marry somebody who was X or Y, and then they've gone on to marry exactly that sort of person. Or they've specified that the person for them would have to have A, B or C characteristics, and then they marry somebody with completely different characteristics. It happens time and time and time again. And when I ring people up and ask, what happened because you said you didn't want to meet someone like that and you've married them, they always say the same, which is when they met and fell in love, everything changed. It's just about being open to a variety of possibilities and being willing to consider all the possible people that come into your arena. Now, don't get me wrong here. If you're looking for marriage, then I'm the biggest proponent of you skipping up the aisle with somebody you absolutely and totally adore, and we wouldn't expect you to settle for anything less. But it's very commonly the case that when people first set eyes on each other's profiles, they don't initially think that they are the person for them. If you're thinking, well, that's all right for them, but I'm different myself, I'd really encourage you to read some of the stories of our members who've got married. You can find these stories on our information-only website or on our Facebook page. I'm going to point you to a few now. Have a look at Wills and Carolyn, or Heather and Dave, or John or Phoebe, or Dorothy and George. In each of these cases, and many more, if they hadn't had an open mind, they'd have never developed their friendships and ultimately found the love of their lives. As I've already mentioned, our telephone support is a key part of the ongoing service you receive from us. Whether it's a friendly ear, a guiding hand, some troubleshooting help, or a friendly kick up the backside, if we feel you need one, we're here for you whenever you need us. We also offer all our members in-depth coaching calls, which essentially are discussions with you about any challenges you might have or blockages stopping you meeting the right person. We also provide you with resources to make your membership a success, not only at the beginning of your membership, but all the way through. It's not just books and magazines you'll receive, but we also send out regular emails to guide you in prayer, to support you, to give you food for thought and ideas of how you might meet other people. If you use social media, we regularly post handy hints, tips and useful suggestions. In addition, there's our Finding Someone Special toolkit, a manual of guidance and advice on dating. And our Open to God prayer and Bible study resource to help you grow closer to God as you embark on this journey. Oh, and I've also forgotten to mention that we run events every month in different locations around the country for our members to meet each other. These are lovely occasions where members can get together over lunch. We get a lot of very good feedback about them, and it's an easy way to meet other members informally and without any pressure. Now, you might think you don't need all this support, and maybe you don't. But I can't think of many members who, once they got going, haven't used the support in one form or another. And certainly, if you've tried other agencies with no success, the chances are there will be a reason. Perhaps you've been doing the right things in the wrong way, or perhaps you haven't even known how to get started. That certainly won't be the case with Friends First. I'm pleased to say that although we've grown very significantly since we started in 1999, we're still a small, friendly business that cares passionately about our members. We continue to be supported by churches up and down the country, and I'm so proud to have won the prestigious Wise Woman Award for running a business that positively impacts the community. So you can join us knowing that you're in good hands, that you won't be left on your own, and that you'll have plenty of opportunity to meet lots of other Christians looking for friendship and relationship. Finally, I want to have a word with you about what's ahead when you join us. Finding your soulmate is a journey, and there will be ups and downs. For some people, it's really easy, and I can think of a number of people who've met and got married pretty quickly after joining. But for most people, like anything in life, joining an organisation like Friends First can be hard work. It can take time finding your soulmate, and perseverance is essential. That's why our support is so important, because we're here for you on your journey. We're the ones that will encourage you to keep going. For example, when you're not sure whether somebody will like you, or when somebody you really like doesn't want to take things in the direction that you do. So we've come to the end of my video, and I now just want to encourage you to make a decision, one way or the other, about joining Friends First. If you've received our brochure by post, take a moment to read it. Look at all that we offer and all that's included with each of our 4 membership packages. You can also look at our website if you've access to the internet. It's where you can read a lot of the feedback from other members, as well as the marriage stories that I mentioned earlier. Most importantly, call us for a chat if you've got any questions or you're concerned or worried about absolutely anything. It's exactly what we're here for. But I would encourage you, most of all, to make a decision, one way or the other. Don't sit on the fence. It's a painful place to be, and it doesn't help you move forward in your life. Let me ask you how long you've been on your own for, thinking how nice it would be to meet someone. How many people have you met over the last year or so? Is it as many as you'd have liked? And have you had opportunities to form friendships that might develop into something rather special? If looking back you realise you haven't actually met that many eligible, appropriate people, then joining Friends First will give you the opportunity to do just that and to meet lots of lovely Christians of the opposite sex with whom you can start making friendships. Many people are nervous when joining an organisation like Friends First, but I can assure you, you have absolutely no need to be, not least because we're here to support you. Like any journey, the nervousness part often comes before you set off. Once you actually get going and you've made the first step, you'll find your nerves disappear and are replaced with excitement about what you're doing. You'll also find that doors open that you could never have expected or predicted. And once that happens, you'll be excited to see what God is going to do next. So, set yourself a timescale to make your decision. Write the date down and resolve to have made your decision by that date. And when you decide that joining Friends First is the right thing to do, just fill in the form that's part of our brochure and return it to us. Alternatively, pick up the phone and we can get your membership started over the phone. You can also join us through our website, but after that, everything else is done through our office. Whatever method works best for you, make a decision sooner rather than later. time is short. Life goes by fast, and it doesn't have to be lived alone. With us, you'll have a great future to look forward to. We can't wait to welcome you and start introducing you to the other lovely people on our books. That's all from me now, but my team and I look forward to talking to you in person and getting to know you better. God bless.